questions to ask, right? I campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on even deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch alongs to the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South, they flying. Keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Yes guys, welcome back to episode 10 of Transfer Weekly, the show where I tell you all about all of the rumours and potential transfers coming in and going out of Crystal Palace in this summer window. Today's episode, we are finally looking at some fullbacks and a potential loan for one of our best young talents. Guys, always remember, please look at our shorts and our TikToks as we are posting daily on Crystal Palace news. So if you want to keep up to date with our channel. Remember, turn on your notifications, like, share, subscribe, and yes guys, let's get straight into it. 22-year-old English Jamaican right back has currently handed a transfer request in. That guy is Jed Spence. He's handed a transfer request in to Spurs because he's not happy with the amount of game time that he's getting. He wasn't happy purely because in his whole time at Tottenham last season, he has 4 appearances, however he only has 3 minutes of games played. How on earth has he got more appearances than minutes on the pitch? It just shows that this wasn't a signing that Antonio Conte wanted at all, because Daniel Levy actually bought him and Conte didn't. There was a bit of a discussion there and disagreements going on, but overall Conte didn't want him and he clearly didn't play him, so he had to send him out on loan to Rennes, and even then he got injured and never really got a look in. However, if we just look back to the season before last when he was at Middlesbrough and then he went on loan to Nottingham Forest, that loan move to Forest was what put him on the map. He was absolutely incredible. He was defensively strong, tenacious in the tackle, very strong in the tackle, but attacking wise is where he made his name. He worked in a back 5 for Steve Cooper's Nottingham Forest, however, he can work in a back 4 as well. His main attributes are definitely pace, power, one-touch passing and dribbling. He will very happily dribble into the box. He'll pick up the ball from a wide area, drive inside to the pitch and then straight through the middle, or he'll burst into the box on the overlap and drive to the byline. He's very good with the ball at his feet. He sort of resembles a winger when he goes forwards. Very capable with the ball at his feet, and he's got that attacking style that reminds me a lot of Kyle Walker at Manchester City. He'll be strong, he'll be powerful, and he'll be very direct with what he's doing. Also, he's got the dreads, so he does fit the Crystal Palace mould. Even when he was at Middlesbrough, even before he went on his loan, we were looking at him and we were involved in purchasing him. And even if we look back to last January, we were looking at trying to loan him. Unfortunately, he went to Rennes instead. But this guy is such a talent, and I think he would be the future at right back for Crystal Palace if we tried to get him. I'm not going to tell you about his stats for the Spurs season because I can't really tell you about them, as he only had 4 appearances and 3 minutes. However, the season before that, he had 40 starts in 42 appearances, scoring 2 goals and getting 4 assists in the Championship, with 0.6 shots per game, 1 big chance missed, 6 big chances created, so he had 6 opportunities to get assists, but he only got 4 assists, so the striker should be doing better there, but he's still making the chances. 1 big one is 2 penalties won. This just shows that his tenacity and his comfortableness on the ball in the box. He's driving at players, he's getting taken out like a winger, but he's a fullback, which just speaks volumes to me of how good he is at attacking. 1 key pass per 90, 76% pass accuracy, which isn't as good as most other players we're looking at, but if you're advancing the ball and being as direct as he is, it doesn't really matter as much. Obviously passing is really important, but it's not like it's low, let's be fair. 15 clean sheets with 1.5 interceptions per 90 and 1.4 tackles per 90. It just shows that he's defensively solid as well. There's many compilations and stuff that he will track the man. He will come out and pressure the man very fast so that he doesn't have time on the ball to relax and think about what he's going to do next. But defensively, he is solid. He was fouled 1.4 times per 90 as well, which shows, obviously, when he has the ball, it's hard to get him off of it. 5 yellows, that's quite good for a fullback, to be fair, and for his whole professional career, he only had 1 injury. That was in the 22-23 season when he was at Rennes, so only last year. and he was only missing for 4 games, so it's nothing really major. So unlike Crystal Palace, this is a very un-injury prone player again that we're looking at, so potentially this could be another winner for us. This is perfect for the new right back. Obviously we need a right back, and I've been saying it week in, week out, that we need a right back because we haven't replaced Aaron, and it's nearly been 4 years now. But it sounds good. However, with his current age being only 22 and his contract running out in 2027, he's gonna demand a pretty pricey fee. Spurs are in London. They don't want to give us players for cheap, let's be fair. He is valued on Transfermarkt for about £10 million. However, I reckon it'll be about 15-16 million pounds. I wouldn't pay any more than 18 because I think that's probably about where he is valued at. However, I don't think that he'll come to Palace. The only reason why is because Nottingham Forest are in for him. He's been there before, he's been successful there before, and Tottenham want Brennan Johnson, so maybe they could use that as a part of a swap deal to get Brennan Johnson into Spurs and get Jed Spence out. You never know with Postecoglou, he could like Spence. I don't think he's played in any of the pre-seasons because I'm pretty sure he likes Emerson Royal, but you never know. As I said, if we'd done this, it'll be a blinder. He'd be definitely the right back to progress the club with, and he'll definitely be one for the future. Still only 22. What a great signing it would be, and I'm really hoping that we can get someone like him or someone of his caliber into this club. Potentially, maybe with how pricey people are these days, maybe Sasha Bowie isn't fully off the table. Next up, we've got Rami Ratsaki. Currently looking for another loan move after his very successful loan at Charlton last season. The fans want him to go out on loan again, and the club would like him to go out on another loan again. However, that was all put to stop because the rumours around Michael Olise of him potentially leaving, that sort of changed what Rak-Sakyi was doing, because he was potentially promised a spot in the first team, whether that be starting or on the bench, we won't really know because it's not really happening anymore. However, he stopped his loan moves because he thought he was going to get that chance in the first team. However, when we started looking at players such as Somerville, Nonto, Gray, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, when all those rumours started emerging, it looked like we were going to let Ratsaki go out on loan again, and unfortunately the team that he was going to go to, Ipswich, they had a great win the other day against Sunderland, don't get me wrong. However, they saw that Ratsaki was stalling because he didn't know exactly what was happening, and they snapped up Amari Hutchinson. Great player, he's going to do well for them. However, with Ratsaki taking his time, he's got to go out on loan again. He's got to try and find a new move. However, potentially an even better move came about. Leicester City are looking at getting his services. It's only going to be a loan because we are no way doing a loan to buy, and we've made that very clear to them. And they look like they're gunning for promotion. With the team that they've got, they've basically still got a Premier League team. The only player that I can really say off the top of my head that they've lost so far is Yuri Tielemans, and probably he's one of their weaker players last season. It's going to be very impressive to see what Ratsaki does there. If he does go, it looks like he will, but the only thing I can be concerned of is, will he get the game time? I think he will, because they've just bought Steffi Medividid, and they've got Jamie Vardy still, and Iheanacho and Patson Daka. We have put a bid in for Patson Daka potentially, but nothing has materialised as of yet. But if they have a strike force of Medividid, Vardy and Ratsaki up front, hopefully they give him the game time he deserves. That's going to be a front three that's probably better than half the Premier League table. So hopefully they'll smash it and come straight back up. And this is probably the best thing that Ratsaki could do. He's going to get championship experience, which is needed, and he's going to play with Premier League standard of players. So when he comes back to Palace, he's going to be ready to fight for that first team spot, and he's going to be of that quality. If I'm really honest, this is probably the best move that Jez could do, and I really hope it happens. Obviously, as I said before, my main concern is he going to get the game time? But if he does, this is the perfect move for him. Jez, I wish you so much luck, mate, and I hope you come back and start balling out for Crystal Palace. Have a good year in the champ. Lastly, today we have 18-year-old left-back Lewis Hall. Currently plays for Chelsea and had a very successful end to last season. Frank Lampard definitely saw that there was something coming through the youth academy, and they started playing him. Played him over Mark Cucurella at left back because Cucurella was just not performing, and he had to flex him into a centre back role for some reason. But that's Lampard. You get nonsense, but it is what it is. However, a bright spark was definitely Lewis Hall. He made a name for himself. He was a very comfortable left back in that Chelsea team and held his own definitely. With how he played, he earned himself a right into that first team. He played a lot of games towards the end of the season, and he definitely earned himself a loan move to a Premier League team. The team that is looking to take the most interest in him is currently Crystal Palace. It's definitely going to help because Mitchell's currently injured, and we only really have one left back, and that is Mitchell. So we've been very lucky that Mitchell hasn't been injured the last few seasons. But I'm happy that we're looking at getting someone in. I've been calling for a while, even though I've been saying about this right back situation, but the left back situation is just as bad, because even though we have two pretty okay-ish right backs, we've only got one left back, and that's just a sin. You can't do that. We do have Gyro, but we need two left backs. Mitchell, very defensive. However, Lewis Hall is very offensive, which is something we have been needing. When Mitchell and Patrick Van Arnold played together, they both pushed each other to become better and better and better, and that's what Mitchell needs. He needs to be pushed because it feels like he's been standing a little bit still ever since he's got that England call-up. Lewis Hall is a very versatile player. He can play left back, central midfield and left wing. Definitely fits the mould of that new Palace profile of player. We're looking at getting players that can play in multiple positions, and we've been doing it so far. Franca can play multiple positions, Lerma can play multiple positions, and so can Lewis Hall. Very similar to Jed Spence, but probably not to the same extent. He does like to pick the ball up from deep, one-touch passing, driving on the inside and straight through, overlap. However, one part of his game which is absolutely incredible is his crossing. He'll hit the cross on a dime every single time. I know that Papa Soare wasn't really the best crosser, but he's probably the left back it reminds me most of for Crystal Palace a few years ago. But other than that, Lewis Hall looks like a really good player, and for a loan, great pickup. They have made sure that there is no loan to buy, purely because of the Gallagher situation, because we've been hounding them, or Paris has been hounding them to get Conor Gallagher back to Crystal Palace, but that doesn't seem to be the case with this one. But, if he's there to make a name for himself, I hope he's going to do his best, and if he's coming to Crystal Palace to make a name for himself, to get more Premier League experience, to then go back to Chelsea and smash it there, then good on him. I hope he does well, and I hope he gets his wish. Let's go through some stats. Some of the stats that he put up towards the end of last season. With 8 starts and 9 total appearances, as I said, going in ahead of Mark Cucurella at left back. He scored 0 and assisted 0. However, he got a 0.86 xG, and he also got a 1.4 expected assist. So he should have had an assist on to his name, but unfortunately Chelsea strikers couldn't do the business. With 1.2 shots per 90 and 0.6 on target per 90, creating 5 big chances, and as we said, should have had 5 assists, but the Chelsea players couldn't put it away. 1.7 key passes per 90, 84% pass accuracy. As I said, that's much better. With Spence with 76, it's good, but it's not as good as someone like Lewis Hall. However, with 1.2 interceptions per 90 and 2.6 tackles per 90, he's on the same level as Spence, and those two on either side of fullback would be absolutely incredible to see play at Crystal Palace. He was fouled 1.2 times per 90 as well, which shows that when he's driving with the ball, it's hard to get him off of it, and the other team resorts to taking him out. Only 1 yellow and no injuries to his Chelsea career as of yet. According to the papers, Poch has given the green light for the player to go out on loan, and apparently, as I'm writing the script, Fabrizio Romano does the famous "here we go" and said that it was all finalised last week. The only thing that they had to do was Hall had to sign another contract before coming to Crystal Palace, very similar to what they done with Michy Batshuayi a few years ago, that he needed to sign a year extension before coming to Crystal Palace on loan. Overall, I'm very happy with this signing. I'm very excited to see it happen, and I'm just so happy that we're looking at fullbacks. Nothing's happened yet. Lewis Hall's technically happened, but obviously I'm not going to get too excited until it's 100% done and official. but just the fact that we're looking at fullbacks and we could potentially be getting a left and a right back, both attacking, it's a great day right now to be a Palace fan. And the thing that make it even better with Lewis Hall is potentially he could be fit and ready to play for Crystal Palace on Saturday against Sheffield United. And yes, guys, that's it for today's episode. And as I said many times in this episode before, I'm so happy that we're looking at 2 fullbacks with a formation that Roy's been playing in pre-season, with a 2 pivot defensive midfielders. Vieira tried to do it last season, but it didn't work because we don't have attacking fullbacks. And now we're looking at 2 attacking fullbacks. It's going to work. The only reason why it didn't work is because with 2 pivots, if the fullback runs up, one of the pivots slot into that right back position or covers the space. However, we didn't have any of our fullbacks going forwards. So when our defensive midfielders split and started filling the space, they're doubling up in the space, which means we were defensively very good but offensively very weak, and that's probably why we didn't score any goals. Granted, we had all our forward players playing in the wrong positions, but tactically that is how it would work, and with attacking fullbacks this formation will bang for us. Other than that, guys, if we keep this up, we get Spence, maybe we get Hall as well, and then look at a forwards, maybe even another winger. I think another goalkeeper's needed because we've had a absolute head loss from Vicente Gaeta, but there will be a short out and you guys can have a look at Nicky's thoughts on that subject. However, guys, thank you very much for watching. I am JC from Eagle Eyed Football. Please like, share and subscribe. Put a comment down below who you want me to cover next week. And yes, guys, this is me, JC from Eagle Eyed Football. We'll see you next week out the Palace. Eagles.